Hi everyone, it's Miss Rebecca. Today we're going to make a black cat using black paper. And you're going to need these colors: black, orange, white, and yellow colored pencils. So let's get started. I'm going to show you two ways to make a cat. Start with a circular shape. So that just means draw a circle. Don't do a perfect circle, so you don't have to trace this. Start with a curve and just curve around. Then create two ears at the top of the circle like this, like a triangle shape. Then you're going to create the eyes. The eyes are two curves, a curve on the top, a curve on the bottom, but make sure the eyes point downwards in the middle. Then we're going to create the nose with two little diagonal lines and an upside down triangle right there. And then a little line that leads to an arrow that points upwards. Now create a little white spot on the top corner of your eyes. This is going to be the light of the moon reflecting in the eye. Now we're just going to add some white shading. So find the top of the nose and shade the top of the nose. Find the bottom of the mouth and shade the bottom of the mouth. Find the top of the ears and shade the top of the ears. So when you shade, you're just lightly sketching back and forth with your pencil. And you can make it as dark or light as you like, but keep it soft. So what I'm doing here is taking my white colored pencil and I'm shading using these diagonal lines, going back and forth with my pencil, going all around the outside edge of pretty much everything. So I'm going to go around the face and around the eyes, around the ears, and I'm just really randomly adding outlines and shading. There's really no perfect answer. So what we're going to do here is create the body, and I'm just going to do that by making a wavy, curvy line for the back of this cat. This cat's going to be laying down. And then I'm going to make these little front feet with some curved lines, and then I'm just going to shade around it. Just randomly add these little sketchy lines. There's an arch here and an arch there to show a little hill that this cat is sitting on. And then I'm going to just keep shading with this white colored pencil. As long as it looks soft, it's going to look a little bit like fur. So you're just sketching back and forth, just lightly following the same shape as the cat's face. And I'm just going to create this fur here in the body. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Just try your best. What I like about the white pencil on the black paper is just how it makes the fur look so fuzzy. So now we're going to do the moon. Take a cup or a circular shape and trace around it. Make sure you hold that tracer really tight so you can trace around the cup and get a perfect circle. Now, this is the moon. And what you're going to do with the moon is just fill it in with your white colored pencil. This time, really try to stay inside the lines. And you can make this as bright as you like. So if you push harder on your white colored pencil, it's going to look brighter. And if you want it to be a little bit lighter, you don't have to push so hard on your pencil. Just smooth it out, try to make it even, fill in that whole circle, and you'll be left with what looks like the moon. I like to go one way and then go the opposite way. Now, there we go. Keep it going. Okay. Now I'm just going to continue to add fur with these little short lines, these little sketchy lines. And keeping my hand loose, just filling in with this white, following that same shape of my cat. My cat eyes are going to be yellow. And that's really the only part that's going to be yellow and orange. Now notice I left a little bit of a spot in the middle for the black. So I'm just adding a little bit of orange and yellow into the eyes so they pop. And then I'm going to take my black and I'm going to make these upside down triangular shapes, or you could just do black lines inside the eye in the middle. And that's going to look like the cat eye. You can outline with your black to make more detail, like you can fill in this nose part by filling in this triangle with black. You could outline the mouth like this, just to make it pop a little bit more. You can also outline around the little feeties, the little feet and toes. And you can keep on adding fur. If you see any real blank spots, you can add whiskers. Look at these whiskers. You're just making these curves. The curves come right out. Curve, curve, curve. And again, if you have any spots that you want to fill in with more fur, just take your white and sketch in some very sketchy lines here. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then what you're left with is your little fuzzy cat sitting on a hill in the moonlight. If you want to outline around the arms a little more, you can. And there you have it. Now in this second one, I want to show you a different way to make a standing cat. So start with your white colored pencil and create a small circular shape. You're on a diagonal, meaning the next circle you draw is going to be a little bit off center. So it's going to be a little bit off, and it's going to be medium. It's going to be slanted. And then the next size circle you do is going to be the largest circle. So you're just keep your hand very loose, and your circles don't have to be perfect. You have 3 circles. Notice the sizes. You have small, medium, and the largest is here. Medium, small. See that? And they're slanted, they're diagonal. Now at the top, you're creating those ears, those cat ears. It's a triangular shape, so they come up to a point, and they should be roughly the same size. Now, here's a little trick. Connect the circles on the right with curves, and connect the circle on the left with a curve. And this is the spine, and in the front, that is the front leg. It's going to stick out of the bottom there. Now this whole part here is where that cat's hind leg, or its back leg, is. So we're going to draw a long curve inside this circle to look like that back leg. And you're just adding the little foot here, a little foot sticking out. And that's just done with a curve. And you're going to do the front little foot sticking out, and that's with a curve. Same thing. Now, it's looking pretty good here. So I'm just finishing up the little foot by adding the bottom of the foot with a curve and another curve. There you go. Now, starting at the back of that leg, you're going to make the tail curve all the way under and around the feet. So it's a long curve. Figure out where you want that tail to stop, and then wrap it all the way around. It's going to curve right back up. And there's the tail. Now, I'm just adding now little jagged zigzag lines, and that represents fur. So what you're doing is adding zigzag, zigzag, zigzag line. It's a back and forth small motion, and it makes it look like hairs or fur is coming off parts of this cat. You can just randomly go around the outer edge of the tail and add some zigzags, and around the body. Now, what we're going to do is finish up with these little furry spots. Add a little bit of little curves for toes. And then we're going to do the face. So again, you're making curves, and that curve points downwards in the middle of the face. We're going to make a little small triangle for a nose, and an arrow pointing up for the mouth. And then you could give it a little smile if you want. And I'm just going to make little curves inside the eyes, some whiskers with curves that just come out of the cheeks there. And again, you're only using the yellow inside the eyes. Go right around the black spots in the eyes. And you can add a little orange if you want. And then take your cup or whatever circle you have to trace. Carefully trace the circle, because this cat is sitting in the moonlight. My circle isn't perfect. I make mistakes too. And what I'm doing is outlining around the moon, because I'm just going to fill it in. Fill it in with your white. Fill in that circle. And you can go the other direction too. If you don't want it to be too scratchy, just fill it in. Going two different ways. Now if you want to add a little more shading to it, or if you want to outline a little bit darker, you can. And what I'm doing now is just adding a little bit of wind, or what looks like the wind blowing in the background. So you can do that with wavy lines, and you can also do that with swirls or spirals. So I'm spiraling around and around, just picking out different places where I can make it look like wind. Well, pick one, and I'd like to see what you do on Google Classroom. Thanks, guys.